Guys, welcome back. Unless you're new here, if you're new here, welcome. I hope you enjoy the content. So today we are jumping into a push session and we're going to be touching on a few things. So obviously the last time we were on here, I spoke about the fact that I was going into a cut. I'm now 5-6 weeks into the cut. So we're going to be dropping a lot of nuggets and stuff about how I've been sort of going along with that process, what's been helping me with the process of losing a few pounds, and yeah, just some really key factors that's going to really help you guys going along if you're going into like a cut or a deficit in some degree. So first off, we're going to run through the substance that I've got with me today. So we've got a bit of Entra, okay, so this is going to be paired up with the EAAs. And what that essentially is going to do is it's going to help me keep well fueled. It's going to keep my glycogen levels really well topped up throughout the session, okay? Making sure the fatigue is managed to the best of the ability, especially being in this deficit. Food is not as high as what it used to be, so performance is going to take a little bit of a hit. This is just going to help to just combat that as best as possible. So we've got that. We've got our Maniac pre-workout from Sports Asylum Nutrition. Fantastic pre-workout, no crash, fantastic pump off of it, and the concentration and stuff's great off of it as well. And that is going to be sort of almost paired up. This is going to go in my water bottle, which is just a hydration supplement. I've spoken about this before. Fantastic supplement. One of them ones, like if you've got the spare money to buy it, by all means go and get it. Really worth the product. Help with hydration and your cognitive sort of function. So yeah, that's what we're going to be running with today for our supplement stack in terms to pre and intra. So yeah, we're going to get stuck into it. Like I said, we're going to do a push session, so this is going to be a really good fun one, and we're going to run through a lot. So we'll see you there. Bench supported lateral raises, okay? So the objective here is to keep the elbows as locked out as possible. Whenever I'm driving through this move, I'm actually trying to think about raising the hands upwards, okay? Think about pouring out a beer bottle, okay? So whenever you come up through the motion, you're pouring out the beer bottle, all right? So you're coming up, chest up nice and tall, feet planted, and you're coming up, pouring out the beer bottle. And making sure that you bring those elbows out ever so slightly from your shoulders. That's going to make sure that you work through that scapular plane. And we're going to come a little bit higher than shoulder level. You want to kind of almost bring the dumbbells just up to your ears. That way then you're really going to contract the lateral head of your shoulders as much as possible. It's a fantastic movement. Really great way to start off your push session. So yeah, so we've got 2 warm-up sets of this, and then we've got 4 working sets of this because man needs to build some big shoulders. So, like I said at the start, I'm 5-6 weeks into my mini cut. I'm going to Egypt at the end of the month. Can't wait. Since starting the mini cut, I've dropped a total of 4 kilos, which I think is a total of just shy of 10 pounds. So it's not been an aggressive cut. It was supposed to just be a very mild cut, but there's still a lot to learn from it. So I was bulking for 9-10 months straight, and within that process I learned a lot with how my body responds to food and what I needed to be able to push the weight and to get better in the gym and to build more muscle. So now getting back into cut, which is something that used to be very comfortable for me, I found a very big shift in the matter of it. So what I've been doing throughout the process is I've been really trying to manage my hunger and my fatigue, which has been a struggle. Like, I will not sit here and say that it's been an absolute breeze. I'm going to talk a little bit more about it further along the line, but there are so many different factors that you can come into play whenever it comes to managing your deficit. So for instance, food is going to be the primary one, okay? Food is going to have your biggest impact when it comes to how your physique is going to look and how you're going to perform. Secondly is going to be the intensity and your performance within the gym. Whenever you're in deficit, it doesn't mean that you automatically start bringing the intensity of your sessions down. You still have to bring the same amount of effort and intensity to those sessions in order to sustain as much muscle as possible. The third one is going to be your general expenditure. So first off, it's going to be your cardio. Don't overdo it, okay? Find out where a sweet spot is, and then as you work through that deficit, ever so slightly increase it from time to time. Lastly is going to be your NEAT, so your non-expenditure activity thermogenesis, okay? Otherwise known as like your steps. Your steps is going to be the most generalized one for your NEAT. So having a step target is going to be a big thing. For me, steps is maybe a little bit more of an easier thing for me to get in over cardio. So me and my coach have been working on increasing the steps rather than increasing the cardio. So at the minute, I'm doing 2 hours a week worth of cardio, which is broken up into 3 to 4 sessions. And then I'm up to 14K on steps on average weekly or average daily. I've got 4 training sessions plus an additional rest day, arms and shoulders. And then yeah, just managing the food from that point. So we'll talk a little bit more into that. Guys, whenever it comes to certain machines, they're not set up for everybody, okay? Depending on your sort of anatomy, your sort of height and stuff, your general build, okay? You might find that some machines don't have the leverage that you need for them. So for instance, on this decline press, okay? You find that the depth on this is too far, okay? So the pectorals are extended too far back where it's nearly impossible to engage them without actually using your lateral heads of your shoulders and stuff. So you'll see from here, like it's not a comfortable position to get in from here to there. Like there's quite a big jump. So what we need to do is we need to find a way to make our stopping point from here to here. So something I recommend is taking barbell clips, okay? Just wedge them on the inside of the bar where it rests against the rubber, okay? Or else you can use the likes of a yoga block, okay? But if your gym doesn't have yoga blocks, or if you don't have yoga blocks, you will always have these in your gym. So, but make sure that, you know, you use them correctly, you know, don't bash them around, like, make sure you use quite the strong point of it, because you don't want to damage any equipment in the gym. So, whenever we use these and leverage them in, you'll see now that it's nowhere near as intense for me to be able to protract and then lift up. So from here, I'm in a far more comfortable position to start from a heavy set, and then to be able to come in and press. And they drop straight away. So it means then if you do need that little bit of extra stretch, that depth at the bottom, you've got that leverage now, but without hyperextending. So yeah, that's something really helpful that you'll find on a little bit of some of the machines that you can't quite get the leverage on. Like I said, we'll talk a little bit more about what I've been doing in terms of my diet. So, I got a rest day and a training day calorie set for me. So, at the minute, for my training day food, I'm getting about 220, 230 grams of protein. I'm on 325 grams of carbs and 40 grams of fat. So, the way I break it up in my meals at the minute is, for breakfast, I'm doing 5 whole Weetabix with 100 grams of blueberries and strawberries frozen, and 50 grams of advanced whey. So that's my pre-workout on my first meal of the day. I generally train first thing in the morning. My second meal is going to be a shake or a smoothie of some form. So I'll either, if I'm on the go, I need something real quick, just a protein shake. If I've got a little bit more time and I need a little bit more for recovery, I'll do a smoothie with 30 grams of oats, a banana, a wee bit of dark chocolate, and protein powder. I'm going to do 60 grams of whey on that. Third meal then is going to be 250 grams of cooked basmati rice, 180 grams of barbecue chicken, with 75 grams of mixed peppers and 75 grams of red onions, and I throw a little bit of salsa on that as well. If you're the type of person that does not like dry food, but you also don't want to waste the calories on a lot of sauce, salsa is a cheat code, all right? Like, I think it's like 30 gram serving is like 12, 21 calories, so it's an absolute cheat code and it brings so much flavor to your meal. After that then, my next meal is going to be 200 grams of 5% mince, which I'll put together as burger patties, 2 Warburton bagel thins, 200 grams of air fried potatoes, and 100 grams of broccoli. So those meals are keeping me really, really satiated at the minute. So obviously, like factors we've spoke about in the past, so we're using higher index, we're using more complex sources of carbohydrates, so the likes of the rice and the potatoes. They are satiating forms of carbohydrates, so they're going to keep you full for longer. They're going to kick your hunger quicker and more efficiently. We're also including tons of fiber in there, so we're getting loads of fiber in from our fruit and our vegetables. We're also getting a little bit from the likes of those complex carbohydrates, the oats and the potatoes. And what we're doing as well is we're topping up, make sure that we're consuming enough water, so we're aiming for about 4 litres of water a day at the minute. So that's what we're doing in terms of the food for a training day. What to know when it comes to selecting a coach or a personal trainer for you and your needs. So the thing that I understand about coaches and personal trainers is we all figure out our own wee niche, and I believe that to be very crucially important, because you can't be an expert of all, you can't be a jack of all trades. And whenever it comes to physical improvement, when it comes to physical progression, there's so many different attributes in which you can specialize in and want to enhance on. Now, if you're the type of person that wants to kind of improve all around, well, then you're looking for a general lifestyle coach or a personal trainer. Now, the conversation that I had with this particular person was that they hired a coach that they had, but this coach didn't fulfill their needs for the reason as to why they hired them. But the problem was that this person didn't know what they were looking for. They suspected that the coach could just do whatever they needed, but that's not the scenario. So their goal was to get stronger and get fitter and to potentially get into a little bit of a better physical shape. But this particular coach was just a general like weight loss, kind of just generalization lifestyle sort of approach to coaching. So what that person actually needed was either a bodybuilding specialist coach or a physique specialist coach, or a strength and conditioning coach, depending on which portion of the progression they favored them more, whether it was for more of the physique attribute of things, so to physically look better, or to physically improve their performance and their overall health for the strength and conditioning style of things. So try not to hire a coach and then make them work around you. Do your research and understand what type of coach is going to best suit your needs, so that you and the coach are getting the best out of it, because we hate it as much as you do whenever we can't do what it is that we know we do well, which is to coach in that specific format. So moving on to our last chest exercise. So we're doing pec deck or machine pec flies. When it comes to this particular movement, the big mistake a lot of people make is they're too focused on trying to hug from the machine. So their elbows are out like this here. The problem here is that we're not actually fully contracting our pecs, okay? The difference between sort of doing this to doing this, you're contracting the center of your pectorals a lot more. So whenever you come into the movement, you need to make sure that you do flex at the elbows. Therefore, you're not actually putting all the tension and the pressure along your biceps. Because if you come out to here and you just have the elbows locked out, straight away all the pressure, all the tensions go straight to the biceps. So you need to make sure whenever you come back that the elbows are bent, and as you press up, once you sort of push past your elbows, come past the chest, you need to extend from the elbows and come in nice and tight. Now, the handles itself might only allow you to come in to a certain extent, so it's up to you to make sure that you're conscious enough to squeeze the pecs as hard as possible. But in terms to like the dieting and stuff, like it's going really, really well. Like I mentioned, I'm down 4 kilos, which is roughly about 10 pounds or so. I'm not entirely sure, I measure by kilos myself. So yeah, everything's moving really, really well. The coach has said that we can potentially pull a little bit more off. So rather than only doing the 6 weeks of the mini cut, we might actually move into like 7, maybe 8 weeks. Because the goal was to drop at least 15 pounds of body weight, which I think equates to like 6 or 8 kilos. So like I mentioned before, making sure that we are keeping on top of our fiber intake, so our fruit and our veg, keeping on top of our water, our general expenditure, whether it's through our cardio, whether it's through our NEAT. Making sure all those factors come into play, but also making sure that your routine is solidified, such as your sleep and your sort of general, like your stress time, downtime, making sure that you are making time for yourself, okay? If you're a busy individual, it's all well and good, like wanting to lose weight and stuff and trying to keep busy and kind of keep distracted, but if you are far too busy, if you keep yourself too busy all the time, your body is going to crash, it's going to fatigue. It happened to me last week, so it did. All my sessions last week were absolutely horrendous, so we ended up having to do a devolume session. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. So a couple more weeks to this cut, and we're going to see what we come along with. So, you'll see from the clips that came in and put together there for the lateral raises, it's a little bit of an unorthodox kind of setup. It's not like what you stereotypically see other people do in the gym. So the method behind this setup, right, is we're not actually trying to make the movement as difficult as possible throughout. So the principle behind cables is that you have a constant resistance, okay? That's generally the purpose behind cables and the effectiveness of them, right? But what we are actually trying to do when we get set up into this movement is we're actually trying to take a little bit of the intensity, a little bit of the resistance off once we get past this 45-degree angle. So we're actually trying to make it a little bit easier whenever we come to the most shortened section of the exercise. And the reason for that is to just make sure that we are getting as much volume out of it as possible. So because we're towards the end of the session now, we really, really want to maximize the amount of volume, the amount of repetitions being put into this session, especially with fatigue kicking in. So what I'll do is I'll grip onto the cable machine itself, grip my cuff here, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to fully extend my hand out in front of me, and then I'm going to bring it up to the side of my body. From this point to here is far easier, okay? This portion is the most difficult because we are in the most stretched position. When your muscle is in its most stretched position, that is whenever it's at its weakest, okay? You're at your strongest whenever your muscle is in a contracted position. So when we are here to here, that is where our lateral head of our shoulder is the strongest. So we're making sure that we can actually get the most amount of reps out of this as possible. So what we're gonna do here now is we're gonna do one working set of a triple rest pause set. So essentially what that means is that I'm gonna go to absolute failure on this set, and then I'm gonna take a 15-second rest pause, okay? Once those 15 seconds are up, I'm gonna go in again for as many reps as I can at the exact same weight to absolute failure, rest one last time for 15 seconds, and then go in again. Again, what this is doing is just preserving our time, but it's maximizing our failure rate and our repetitions. So this is a fantastic exercise for blowing up your shoulders. It helped me massively. I've been doing this for over a year now, and it's an amazing movement, so get in it. So, great tip for whenever you're doing tricep extensions, right, is don't just use a standardized rope, okay? Now, most gyms will have just a standard rope, just the normal length, right? But the problem with this is that for most men anyways, okay, our frame is too wide, so it is to get a good genuine connection on the rope extension. It's hard to fully extend. Like you'll see here, I'm trying to extend by pulling the handles out here, but I'm not actually getting the rope all the way behind me, okay? The idea is that we want to maximize the contraction and the stretch of this. So, a great tip, get another rope and double it up. That way, you're going to get the leverage that you need, the extra length, so that whenever you do the extensions, you're going to get all the way behind you, and you're going to contract your triceps 3 times as more. It's going to make such a difference to growing your triceps. This is the only piece of OnlyFans content worthy that you'll get for free on this YouTube channel. So guys, that's a wrap for our push session today. Like I said, 5-6 weeks into this mini cut, we've had that's a pretty raw look at how we're looking. Not over the moon with the look so far, you know, like when the mindset when you get into a deficit, like the idea is that you want to look like a Greek god, but that's not the plan here. We are thinking more long term, so we are. So a couple more weeks in the deficit to see what kind of body fat we can move off. And it's primarily just to get me in a good, comfortable position for going away to Egypt, and to also put us into a really, really great starting point moving into the second gaining phase. So I think my gaining phase was, I think I gained 14 kilos, so I did in the space of 10 months. So that was really, really good. So we're down 4 kilos so far, and we can really, really see the difference that gaining phase made. So yeah, we're gonna wrap this up. I hope that you find some of those tips and stuff about like dieting and like how to manage your sort of deficits really, really helpful. If you did, please follow along. We're going to be sharing more helpful, useful content like that. I'm just coming in, having a great time in the gym and stuff. Like we said before in this channel, the idea is to make sure that everybody understands and knows that the gym is a friendly place to come. It's somewhere that everybody comes to progress and improve themselves. So we'll see you all in the next one.